Good evening and welcome to RockSingle. I am Tyron Joe, and we thank you for joining us as we rock truth or absolutely nothing at all. We live in a society today where truth, even before our very eyes, is consistently questioned, criticized, and altered to fit a person's ideology of God's original intent for the kingdom and for mankind. We believe that the Bible, our kingdom constitution, is inspired, infallible, inherent, and the final authority for all. Rock Single is founded on He, who is the original point of reference for all things to come through eternity. The Rock Single podcast is a cross cultural response to the economic and social climate of today's relationship scene. Rock Single will teach you how to maneuver and still be
All
king.
right, let's just come on through, Queen.
Can y'all hear me?
Let's just come on through.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I ain't know if it cut off. Let me finish these last two sentences. Rock Single will teach you how to maneuver and still be kingdom minded throughout your relationship experiences. Our aim is to help repair the fallen and broken man with the kingdom mindset. The podcast seeks to inspire, enlighten, and highlight upcoming and established local kings and queens of character while promoting Black consciousness and awareness of who we are and to whom we belong. Welcome, everyone, to the Rock Single Podcast.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
All right, our subject tonight is rules of engagement. Um, what's the theme again? I can't see the danger. What is the battle of the wheels? That's right. Battle of the wheels, rules of engagement. I say this a real good one because when I first looked at rules of engagement, what it said to me was that to the reader and to the viewer, to the listener of this program, what it lets us know is that there is some type of order, structure, and discipline when it comes down to relationships and marriages. Some people believe that once they get into a marriage, that they can go bug wild and do whatever they might as well please. But when you talk about rules of engagement, there is a certain way to behave, or there's a certain way to act and to respond in a committed relationship. I just want to throw that in there, the committed part. But there's a certain way to behave. You know what I'm saying? When you say at the altar, when you say I do through sickness and in health till death do us part, that means that you about to give, you know, way well above 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that's not the case today. A lot of people they giving whatever. I know some people they give whatever the other person give. Well, I'm gonna meet you with the same energy you met me with. Okay. All right, well, you had sex with old girl. Well, I'm gonna have sex with Tony. Well, what kind of marriage is that? Somebody need to go get checked. Hello, somebody need to get
In
checked.
more, in
Somebody
more
need
ways than one.
Sound like a corporate merger to me.
somebody getting sick. So this when I say that the rules of engagement is really good because now we have a base. Everybody's at the base, everybody at square one, and we need to hash out what it is. And then the thing is, I know, and I want to hear from Selena because I know with the rules of engagement, the blueprint is the kingdom. Is that infallible proof that we read. That's the
Oh yeah,
blueprint of the rules of engagement. So I'm gonna stop. I want to hear from
that's
Selena.
it. Absolutely. I totally agree. Can you guys hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, because I'm having reception issues this way, but that's okay. But yeah,
Oh shit, I think she went.
and with the box out playing according to the rules. You play according. Can you hear me?
You
You
breaking
going
up.
you going yeah going in and out.
Yeah, she might be the went out
I'm
again.
gone.
Yeah,
Is it better? It could be me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're going in and out.
I
Mm-mm.
Come on, Wi-Fi. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Let me double check my settings. Hold on. Off Wi-Fi. Okay, is this better?
Yeah, yeah.
Is this better?
Yes, I can hear you clear that time.
Okay, okay, okay. All right. So yes, with the rules of engagement, very important, very imperative. Because again, with the theme, keeping with theme, we wanted to, get down to the point where we are now getting the referee in a sense to give us the rules. You know what I'm saying? So that we're not fighting dirty, that we're not playing dirty, that we're playing accordingly. One thing that I've discovered out here, because a lot of people like to say, oh, this person cheated on me. Well, cheating can't occur unless you're married. But cheating can also occur when you are aware of the rules of the game and you're playing with somebody who doesn't. So it
Mm.
becomes unfair. It becomes a cheat. You know what I'm saying? There's no cheating at this. And so when you're aware of the rules, your job is to make your friend also aware of those rules. But then also with engagement, there comes engagement. How do we get there? How do we get to the point of engagement? And of course, we know the foundational basis of that is friendship. That's the ship. That's the way we're going to travel, and it's friendship at basis, but then also with engagement. Engagement equates marriage. Okay, so when you have an engagement, that is an earnest agreement. When you buy a house, you have to have earnest money in the bank, and that money is pretty much that money on wood, just like Christ was that made everything all good. That says that you have enough in the bank, or you have enough character to complete the transaction, to complete the deal. That your word is your word. That is good. But again, your word isn't to the other person. That's where we're getting marriage confused. We thinking we're making vows to each other, and it's not. You're making the one vow that you've already made to Christ prior to the ceremony. This is a ceremony. You merge into one, which is what marriage is prior to. Prior to. So you shouldn't even be celebrating in a sense with anybody you haven't merged with prior to. And that's oneness in mind. you know the only place where you can be one, or where you agree, is where, um in Christ. It's in Christ, and it's that the word, his word, is infallible, his word is inspired, his word is inerrant, and it is the final authority for all. Everything else, who cares what your favorite food is, what your favorite, none of that. That's all childish. That's all elementary, my dear Watson. And so when we're talking about those rules, it's just two forms to that: knowing what engagement entails, but then also knowing that there are rules that you have to abide by, or rather law. And the law, of course, we know is love. And what does love mean? That means that you correct your brother, that you forgive your brother, but you also restore your brother. Them two are coupled together. So forgiveness and restoration goes together, and you put them back into the original position they were in prior to failure. And this is where we're having a hiccup in relationships, because all people can forgive, but nobody want to restore. So that's pretty much the basis and the theme, the thesis around that theme, the rules of engagement.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm. Sounds like being unequally yoked. Really is
Period.
That's a big situation, and
Period.
a lot of people they don't even understand about the unequally yoked. They don't even understand. Like, well, we married, but you can still be unequally yoked and married, right?
Teach, brother, teach. Because again, hold on. Are you married? Is the question because you
Oh,
didn't merge into one. You just had a wedding. And that's what
oh,
we don't like to like really go into the raw truth of the relationships that we have placed ourselves in. We like to go ahead and slap on the God did. No, no, no. Because if God did, there would be evidence.
mm,
There would be evidence. God don't want us living lives in which we got problems every day and we got to go back and forth with somebody. No, those are now two unprepared people in every sense of the word. So they haven't been prepared, meaning they're equipped, and they're not prepared, meaning he didn't put them together prior to foundation.
mm.
And these are the relationships that we have, our children are coming out of, stemming out of. And of course, we don't deal in the truth of the fact that you guys didn't merge into one. You had a wedding or a ceremony for the people, not for him.
Oh, Walt Disney.
Ah, you already know the world of make believe. The world of make believe. It is. It is.
Mm.
Absolutely, King.
I'm listening to everybody else.
Yeah, me
Oh,
too. Me too. Yeah, I talked.
but I mean, there's a lot of definitely a lot of um, interesting things that were said there. Um, I'm sitting up here. I've been looking at the scripture about unequally yoked the entire time we've been on air.
Mm-hmm.
The subtitles, the Bible is broken up in subtitles in a lot of these chapters, and it's interesting to me that the subtitles entanglements.
Ooh, ooh, okay. Now we about there we go. That's where you gonna
So,
find you.
Mhm.
uh,
Mm.
we know the infamous. I ain't gonna say her name, but had a lot of these ladies out here, these modern day women, thinking that word was so on point. And we got a whole little scripture verse, whole little chapter here.
Mm-hmm.
And before it even goes into talking about unequally yoked, the
Right.
Teach, King.
of being unequally
Teach.
yoked was entanglements.
Mm.
So
Teaching.
we
Teaching.
that word, like most shenanigans, was magnified and glorified because the serpent, as I always say today the serpent is social media. That's
Ah.
where
Mm-hmm.
um his whole point in the garden, because we always want to say there's nothing new under the sun. Well, if we really believe that, then we got to believe that some mechanism of the garden is still here. So what is
Absolutely, King. Teach.
so what is the serpent? The serpent is media. That's where he's going to get the most out to the masses, because
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning he couldn't get to. He had to work through because Adam was God on earth. He couldn't get through him.
Yes.
So he had to get through the new vessel. He had to get through the emotional one, the weaker one. And
Mm-hmm.
God and Paul specifies that she failed. There's a reason for that. So when you talk
Wait a
about her
minute. Go. When you say that, what you mean? Say that again.
specifying that the weaker vessel was the one that was beguiled, that the weaker vessel was the
Okay, but you
that,
okay? You said beguiled, but not not failed, right?
well, when I say fail, I'm
Okay,
talking as far as a
beguiled.
fallen moment or tricked or a moment
Yes,
where
sir. Okay, thank
you know,
you.
you know whatever we call it backsliding today, or we call it you know uh
Mm-hmm.
whole song about it. We fall down but we get up, XYZ. We all gonna have our moments of failure. We all gonna have our moments where we fall, but the important thing is to get up. The issue is that Adam being the teacher, everything, the order was set, all
Teach.
set up, all the structure was set up, and
Mm-hmm.
some way or another Adam forgot all that. He got
Mm.
it, got his place. So now when you fast forward to today, just like in the garden, Adam went from teacher to follower, which was not his God. That's how the society wants men to be today. They want
Oh,
Yes.
oh, oh.
religions that
Yes.
put the burden on the woman, and that's why the woman's so frustrated with
Mm.
us.
Yes.
So
Teach.
the issue is, if you want to talk engagement, let's start here. The man is responsible for the rules of engagement,
Thank
and
you.
I'll
Teach.
put it out there for that, for you to take a step in there.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. And that's
Yeah,
why I was asking you about going into when you were talking about her fail. Because when you put fail, you go to fall. And the fall didn't occur when she took of the fruit. It
mm-mm.
was when he did. And so,
Right.
like you're saying, everything is on you guys. Everything is on man. You know what I'm saying? Even getting this thing turned back around. You know what I'm saying? It's on you guys. And as rock true queens, we should be edifying you, encouraging you to get in place, get
Teach,
back in position,
teach.
govern, dominate, cultivate like you are supposed to. So that we're, like you said, now we're frustrated because it's like, this ain't even my job. Wait a minute. But society has set us up for that. And like you said, when you're looking at there's nothing new under the sun, this same little ordeal happened back then. And we was talking about that throughout this subject matter, how you can see and note falling behavior. You
Oh
see
yeah.
the immaturity. You know what I'm saying? You see the shift blaming. You see the cover girl. You see them cover themselves as opposed to God covering. So all this falling behavior, of course, it has been amplified, and it's an agenda that is pushed, especially on our women, especially in our Black community. And the woman, even Big Ma, has become the central figure. Wait a minute, what happened to Big Pop?
Mm-hmm.
Where is he? And a lot of the times, like, I ain't being facetious, he has died of a heart attack. Why? More
Oh,
more than often, more
come
than
on.
often, he's more than likely with a woman that he should not be with. He's more entangled with somebody he should not be with. He has entangled himself with, all because of his own fleshly desires that he has not conquered. Because
Mm.
can't nobody make you do nothing. You got a woman, you should have chose to put her in her place, and you didn't. And I know it may sound harsh for women, but it's the truth. We have a position. You know what I'm saying? We have a position, and we should be there so that they can function properly. Because anytime you're not, you're malfunctioning. And they can't function and be. They need their heads clear. They need their minds clear, their hand, everything so they can be. And we're causing problems because we're being selfish, self-centered. And the same thing in the fall, like you said, we believe that we should have that position, and that's not true. That's not true. He lied to us.
Oh yeah.
It makes me think about Ty. I don't even know what series we were in. It might have been Baywatch, but I think you are posting in the group. Like everybody has things they struggle with. And
Mm.
I remember you mentioning about, are you ready to help somebody fight their demons, whatever demons they have.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Mm.
Right. And so the reality of the situation is like whoever we deal with, men, women, the bottom line, we are dealing with another human being. So that person's going to come with issues. What issue? We don't know. God even told us that we all are filthy. We all are unrighteous. Who on this earth is righteous? Not one of us. Okay. If you think you're righteous and you're deceiving yourself. Um, and so with the men, not giving them an excuse, but I really believe that I don't want to say they've been they have forgotten who they are. Um, a lot of times they have not been taught their proper place, even from young boys. You know what I mean? Like that they are kings, and you
Teach.
know that um, this, you have a lead and you have a role not in this world. And so that's why they don't know how to be the head of a family, to be the head of a house. And women are taking over and being frustrated because think about it, proper order is never going, I'm not going to say never, but it's not going to be frustration. But women are like, this is not my job.
Teach.
And so there's frustration and there's irritation and there's resentment. There's a lot of resentment because you're not doing your job and this is not my. And so that's why I don't want to say I can't stand, but all that independent women
Come on and teach.
Girl, Beyonce
don't,
lied. I told you them
yeah,
Charlie Angels
all
lied.
that
I'm a
that
survivor.
independent. fist in
Liar.
the air, girl power. Who needs them? Who run the
Girl,
world?
sit
Girls.
down. Go sit down.
Baby, I
Sit down.
don't want to run the world. I
Like
don't
girl
want to
magic.
run the world.
Me either,
I want
Queen.
I want an amazing king
I
side
need
by
this king
side
to
with
run
me.
it.
And
Love
we
me.
gonna do this life journey together. Uh, listen, what in the foolishness? Okay.
Girl.
I that is not my story. That's not my song.
Come
No
on.
thing. Um, and even down to like you said, Mary, nobody wants to restore. You know what I mean? It's like, but he a
Yep.
grown man, he should know, and I don't
Mm.
Yep.
got time to deal with somebody with this, and that, and nobody else's stuff and all that. Well, guess what? Even when you by yourself, you're gonna be left to deal with your own stuff.
Come
My
on.
sis teach.
So, so how about, the bottom line, like I said, I was listening to everybody talk and it made me think about what you said, Ty. Nobody's, if you are looking for perfect, you're wasting your time. So if you want perfect, then yes, go sit by yourself because you'll be chasing until Jesus cracks the sky open or it's your
Oh,
turn.
can I
Either
can I
way.
can I intervene? Can I intervene, please? Can I
Sure.
intervene, please? Because yes, we are not perfect. However, he gave us an out to be perfect, and that's in love only. That's what I'm
Right.
talking about. Like it ain't even about your fallen
Praise the
depraved
Lord.
nature. Don't nobody really care about your drinking, smoking, cussing, your fornicating. That ain't listen. If it
Right.
ain't took root, if love ain't took root inside of you, those outwardly appearances that you trying to put on to this world ain't gonna cut it. And real folks, rock true folks, can see right through that little fake facade. You gotta have his love. So if you ain't correcting yourself and your brother, you ain't forgiving yourself and your brother, you are not coupling that with restoration and your for yourself and your brother. One, that's an indicator that you ain't received it properly from Christ. So when he gave it off, the handoff was perfect. It was something in the little filthy pipe of you, which is more than likely you being full of you. And that's worse than you being full of ish. You know what I'm saying? And so it didn't get filtered out right properly so that you're able to give or hand off because it ain't for you, it's for you to give to others. And you trying to hold and harbor it for yourself. That's why you sick. But perfection
Like you
lies
said.
here. Don't you can be perfect in love. The problem is you don't want to be. And that's
In
what he's
love,
looking
right.
for. Yeah, yes, sis. That's
In
what he's
love.
looking for. He's
But
looking for that
In love.
commandment that you can be obedient to. This ain't about your outward appearance. This is about your obedience. And you are not obedient when it comes to your brother. And that's the divide. That's the divide.
Right. And nobody wants to, like I said, and what does it say in Second Corinthians? I think it's the last part, I believe it says, love never gives up.
It don't.
mhm.
Love
Yeah.
never gives up.
Yep.
That's what it says. And people are, like I said, I'm not dealing with this and that. And the reality of the situation, oh, it's funny. I'm in First Peter, and it says, "Wives." It says, "In the same way, you wives must accept the authority of your husbands. Then, even if some refuse to obey the good news, your godly lives will speak to them without any words. They will be
Teach.
won over by observing your pure and reverent lives."
Teach.
And so it made me think about, again, nobody's talking about being a doormat. Nobody's, because it's going to be somebody like, oh, well, just let somebody do anything. No, that's not what we are saying. But Mary, like you said, it is about loving somebody like Christ loves me. That's my goal, to love somebody like Christ loves me. Because if I'm keeping tabs, if I'm keeping score, if I'm not trying to love
Yeah, yeah.
perfectly, then I'm, and God don't give up on me. That's the thing. I can't look at you and be like, God tells me when I ask for forgiveness, he forgets it. So if I'm still looking at you and I can't forget what you did, or
Teach.
I'm constantly bringing it up, then I'm not loving like he's loving me. And I'm not
Teach.
going to say that's easy, but that should be my goal. My goal was not to find a perfect man. My goal is
Teach.
to, God, please help me to be unemotional. Okay, be unemotional so that I can love somebody the way that you love me. And that's just it. I don't want to do nothing else. I do not want a perfect marriage. I don't want a perfect man. God, please mold me and shape me to love somebody else the way that you love me in every sense of the word, and to allow that person to grow in grace.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
I think a lot of times, and I talk on this a lot, Mary. Uh, Ty has heard me mention it many times, and it's one of them things that stay in my planning, in my journaling, different things like that. Deciphering that word perfect and perfection. Um, and I asked a
Hmm.
question to a group of people. This matter of fact, earlier this week, and even this weekend that passed, that why, with all the definitions and translations of perfect, are we so quick in our relationships to say or preface a sentence by saying I'm not perfect, but because
Mm.
what's up happening is that we only think about the definition of perfect. And I think I made a post about this. Um, we only focus on the flawless definition of perfect,
My
and we
Lord, teach.
and we forget that when you go scripture for scripture, and I can just knock them all out. I'm looking at some now. Every time the Most High talks about perfect, he's talking about the definition of completion or
Mm,
maturity.
Ooh,
So
teach King.
in
Teach King.
that sense, I do want a perfect person. I remember one time I was dealing with someone, and I told her, I said, "You are absolutely beautiful. I have no complaints. I have no areas physically where I'm not satisfied." And I might as well just say it. It was my ex marriage, and when we were going through some of the hardest, toughest times after her making her decision, um, she said some things to me, and one of the things that came out of her mouth is, "You just want me to be perfect." After I said, "I just want you to be pleasant." That let me know right there that the
Mm.
maturity, because after
Mhm.
letting her know how beautiful she was, letting her know how satisfied I was in every other area, I just want you to. How do people take me? They know me for being that pleasant guy that can be talked to, that can be counseled with. I'm always the guy that welcomes. My wife has to reflect that. I need that from you.
Teach,
And
brother.
outside of all the compliments I gave her physically, letting her know that ain't what I'm worried about with my wife. Um, I need you to do this. Oh, you just want me to be perfect. You know what I do? I need you to grow up. I do want
grow
you to be.
up.
Ooh.
I do want you. And I think that we have to really, really dig in this thing, because Jate said some things that were very interesting about men and what we have lacked. Um, I've given the testimony many times that because I did not have a father, thanks be to God, being raised by my grandparents, it forced me, after having my encounter with God, to understand that, look, the way you got a tutor in school, you're going to have to get a tutor in life. So I had to
Teach,
go
King. Teach.
for a man that was a man. I had to pride. I had to say, look, I don't know how to drive. I had men in the church, ministers, people that I gravitated towards, best friends, fathers. They taught me to drive. They got me my license. There was several people, and I failed more than once. And multiple people took me. They rallied around me to help me be a man. But we have to be, and in that, what you learn is that, or what now being a father, I can teach my sons because I'm present like mine wasn't, is that I need you to understand that going after your manhood, you have to understand what it is to be your first administrator. What that means is that
Teach, King.
you're gonna learn how to write a check. You're gonna know how to pay your car note. You're gonna learn some responsibilities that round you out to where you are not making your woman be acrimonious or feel acrimonious to you. You don't want to bring acrimony out of her. You don't want to bring resentment, as Jate said earlier, because all those things made me think about one of the movies that I think are absolutely one of the best movies that Tyler Perry ever did. I don't really like none of the other stuff, but the way he broke down that acrimony, the way Taraji played that role, to how you just wake up one day and it's there. Yes, that's how it is. Because if you're a man who didn't take the time to properly, and this is why I say we're in charge of the rules of engagement, we set them.
Mm-hmm.
We're the master of the soil. And I'm gonna go into that a little bit into the show a little bit later. But we being learning how to be the husbandman, the farmer, the master of the soil, we gotta get this. We gotta get how to be our own men.
Teach,
If
teach,
we
teach, teach.
be authority, let's just say whether our father was there, or let's just say we got raised up in that home that Jate mentioned where we have our mother. We got feminine energy whether we like it or not. So that's why it's essential that you gravitate, like I had to do, seek out a man, because you're
Teach, brother.
leaving one authoritative voice that is your mother, and you're going to another authoritative voice that is your woman. If you live with her, or whatever you want to call use for a term. And a lot of these brothers, this is why they have domestics, because they have no idea
Teach.
or walls with a woman, and she's frustrated with you, and she's resentful with you, and she has acrimony with you because she feels like you're not her man, you're her son, and that means she's your mother and she can't be your woman.
Mm.
This is what we gotta fix.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
This is what we gotta fix. So I'm gonna leave it there because I loved everything Jate just said, and I didn't want to lose that thought. But we have to get to the fact that perfection also means, it said, the Bible says, mark the perfect man. Well, how do you mark the perfect man? You look at his maturity.
Mm.
You look at his breath.
Character.
You
Yeah.
look through all that's right here in front of me, because it said, for the end of that man is peace. I talk to Ty all the time. As
That's
men,
it.
accountable. I say, brother, we supposed to be the temperature setter in our home. We're the peace. I don't need no woman to be my peace. I can use it.
Teach.
Oh, you can,
Teach, brother.
but in that, you're getting that from me, because I'm gonna say
Bro.
it here, because that's what makes me the priest of my home. That's what makes
Ooh,
the reflection
On that
teach.
priest, hitting on that priest.
and my image. I take on that image and I wear it, and I'm not going to be bringing chaos in my home, because then you, as a woman, made up the way
Woo.
you are.
Come
It may
on.
look like you forgot it today, but you may bring it up 2 months from now. We're not doing.
We not doing
We're
none
not.
of that. We not doing none of that. Come
So
on, teach, King.
so
Ooh,
there's little things that the 40-year-old me know that the 23-year-old me didn't know. But through the
teach,
way
brother.
you bump your head as a man in your 20s and then your 30s, you should be getting you should start to be getting momentum, and then by 40 you start getting financial. All those little things happen, but the main thing is you got to know all of these little secrets, and then at the same time you got to understand the state laws, you got to understand the world laws, because there's a ton of adversaries trying to destroy the man. There's
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
And if you
Exactly.
if you just willy nilly sowing your seed in the wrong places, you will be destroyed, and it will be your fault.
mhm.
That's
Teach,
I always,
teach.
because the woman's going to amplify and multiply whatever you give her. But we're gonna leave that alone right there for a moment. We'll get.
That's it's absolutely true. It's, I mean, everything you said absolutely true. Before we go to Lord Ty, I want to bring it back to your definition of perfection and completion. And that's what we're talking about, having his character. You have his image, you have his character. He is one, he is whole, he is complete. These are the indicators for when you're looking for somebody, when you're saying, okay, is this a person that, because again, as women, a man can say all day, will you marry me? You still have the authority to say yes or no.
Mhm.
And you can say no based on the fact that, bro, you're not one whole and complete. You
And you
don't
know.
have the willingness. You don't have the relationship, which
Resources.
now I know you ain't gonna have the resources. So
Mhm.
these are the main things we should be looking for, not have an idol in front
Right.
of us, because
Mhm.
that's what it is. We doing idol rupture. But when you go to that word perfection, you are absolutely correct. He is talking about being a one whole complete person. What you do is what you say, what you think. All them things are one. You're not double minded. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? And at the end of the fruit, remember the fruit, there's no S. The fruit of the spirit is love. Everything else is a byproduct. And so the result of a man who has love, at the end, he has temperance. He has self-control. And when you see a man that has self-control, that's where you can say, okay, I may want to put my eggs all here. But if you don't see self-control in this brother's life, if you don't see a whole person, meaning he ain't double-minded, be over here one with it, if you, hey man, don't go that direction and then try to blame him for not being prepared. You
Mm.
knew that before you went in. You thought you was Captain Saberhaw. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Because,
and then here comes the resentment
yeah.
because you chose
There you
to
go.
do something that you should know. If anything, support him. And the way when I say I want to commend you, I'm so serious. When you said you took the steps, it's okay to be like, I'm not whatever I need to be, even when we're not talking
Yeah.
in marriage.
Mm.
As a man, as a woman, as a
Yes.
person. But and men don't understand it. And not and I don't want to be sexist, but I'm saying me because I deal with men. I'm a woman.
Right.
But don't pretend that you're ready. Listen, a real woman is trying to love like Christ. She's not worried about if you're ready or not. Listen, we don't
Teach.
not right now. But if I see you doing the stuff that it's going to take to get there, that right there to me is admirable.
Come
That
on,
right there
Queen.
to me
Teach.
is a turn on. Okay,
It's a
that
turn.
right. Don't you don't have to pretend I'm ready sounding like SpongeBob. If you as a man, I wouldn't care if
That's
you
Teach.
were
smart.
60, 62 years old, okay?
Hmm.
And
Y'all
you're
teaching me.
honest, like, listen, this is what I want to be, but I'm not, but I'm doing the work.
Teach,
That's
teach, teach.
all. That's all. That
Ooh.
is all. But and I blame it, and not that we have to go with it, but like you said, social media and society and all these ideas, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh well, how can I tell this woman that I'm 40? I'm 40. I'll never forget my dad told me men don't grow up till they 40. I don't know if that's true or not, but he was like, I'm telling you.
It's about 35.
So yeah, so for you to say, okay, I'm 40
Hmm.
and these are where I lack, whatever, whatever. But I want to do the work. But I think it's like, like I said, you hear, well, you this, how old, you should know, and you should be, and you should already do. And so people are forced, even though it's our choice, but we're forced to pretend. We're forced to pretend that we got it all together because nobody wants to be real. But real is respected with the right person. That's
Hmm.
the thing. With the right person, you will not have to act like you
Teach,
are complete.
teach,
Okay, the right
teach.
person will say, "Listen, it's cool. It's cool. You are not complete, but perfect and perfect. Like you don't have to pretend to be perfect. Somebody is going to respect progression when
Hmm.
they see you doing the work.
Ooh-hoo-hoo.
Listen, after that, get that's something that we can work with. That's something that we can work with, and we can be like Mary say, friends. And I will walk side by side with you as your friend, and
Teach,
you with me, because
teach.
I probably got some stuff that I need to do. And we walk side by side as friends. And that will be even a beautiful aspect when we are at the point of engaging in a marriage, and we can say, look at what we've done together. I support,
Teach.
supporting that right there. It's an honor to be by somebody's side, and you allow me to be by your side and do and watch you go through your process.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
I want to say this to the men as well. Men, I think a word that we should really put in our vocabulary should be confidence. Because as a man,
Teach, brother.
if you really have that confidence, you can have them believing that you don't know what you're talking about. Like I mean, like I had a mentor. If you sit and talk to this man, to my mentor that I had when I was like teenager, he would talk to you about stuff that you really like, man, he really know a whole lot about it. But now that I'm grown, I'm like, man, he didn't really know that much, but he could talk to you and how you believe him because he had that type of confidence. Like we were sitting talking about cars. This man did not know that much about cars. Now that I know, but at the end of the day, he had me wanting a Grand Prix. He had me wanting a Lincoln. He had me wanting that because he was just sitting and talk about it and just make you feel at ease. Going back to where Dwayne is talking about is that man he brings that peace and that calm to the home. Seriously, I have past relationships where the women sometimes they may not want me no more, but they like coming in my house just to sit in my house
Mm.
because there's a type of energy when you come in. There's a type of energy that hits you when you come in, and when you walk out, you feeling different. No
Well,
lie.
that's that goes even to the scripture where I know a lot of people just the way that things are put out there, and that's why you have to grab people by the hand. You have to really go to the scriptures and show them stuff and teach them things, and
Right.
bring, because
Teach, brother, teach.
for so many years until I actually dug in there, I used to hear people like a lot of women be so mad because oh, how you supposed to be silent in the church, blah 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 blah. That ain't what the scripture said. You have to read the whole thing. It told you to hold your. It basically lets you know hold your opinion for your man
Teach.
at home. And this is one of those things that I try so hard to relay to these stray women. I'm just gonna say stray that because that's how, and because they can be
Okay.
as well. When you see a stray, and I love how one of the guys broke it down, he said, "Bro, sometimes you can see a stray, and you can feel like you can't because the first thing you're gonna look at is the collar to see if they got a homeowner. If it had
I
a
can't. I cannot with him. He gonna get us shut down.
Yo,
Teach.
I'm like,
look, this is
Teach.
no disrespect. And this is both sides. This is men and women. We both can act like we ain't got no home training. We can act like we ain't got no teaching. Men today act like they just don't got no home training. So you see this stray. I had a friend tell me the other day, she said, man, I was walking down and I had a boot on my foot and my son helping me. And we just saw this big bulldog. He running around and he wasn't trying to bite nobody, but just the presence of the dog did something. So she trying to, get her son to go back in the house, and she getting in protective mode. But as we were talking to her, I had her laughing because I'm like, did it have a collar? You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like well mannered, loose. And I'm like, but then when I'm asking her what kind of dog it was and all this, and I saw the dog actually one time, I say, yeah, that's a nice dog. If that dog stay loose long enough and that dog is trained, somebody gonna steal that dog. Somebody gonna keep it. They ain't gonna return it because if you see a stray and it's got a collar in your mind, if you own that, automatically, if you're not ignorant to that, what they gonna do, Ty? They gonna say, man, he already trained, he already home broken. I'm taking that home.
Right, 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 right. Teach.
They
Mm-hmm.
feel they came up. Now, if you just see some little scallywag thing running around, no collar, and it just looking dirty, and it's gotta get man, cops have to shoot a dog down because it's biting and everything else. Now go to the internet and you see how from sight to status, you see these bored, these lonely folk just jumping from status to status. Why are they doing that? Because they're looking for an
Mhm.
exchange of energy because of what they now
Oh.
you're
Teach, brother.
looking, you're really looking like Mary was talking about,
Mhm.
where it's like you don't have no character. You don't belong to nobody.
Teach, King. Teach, King. Teach.
Everything that Mary breaks down proves to us that we are his chosen generation. We are his royal people. When you break down the royal
Come on.
we are his special property that he'll go back in the fire for. As the song say, we're the sheep that he
Thank you,
won't.
Lord. Thank you, Lord.
So we have to understand how special we are and act like we got some doggone sense because at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of people. Yeah. Sorry, somebody wants to do a class on the projector. Okay. So to ask you if you were still like.
Oh,
Oh, she a hater. Not just like
in the classroom, they hating on the
they
message.
hate no. Hey man, hey, he
They
teaching.
Okay. Yeah. So I apologize about that, but yeah, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like we have to be better about how we move, because people are looking at you know what I'm saying, the results. They're looking at for the fruit that, like Mary was talking about. And one of the things that's making me get to the point where I just have to, like I told Ty a couple times, I just have to get to the point where I'm just like, you know what, I ain't gonna do blah blah blah, because when you see these women coming from site to site trying to fight and this, that, the other, they're looking for an exchange because of what they're lacking. So you
Teach,
can't
teach, teach.
for the shenanigans. You know what I'm saying? And these are ways that we have to learn, you know what I'm saying, how to have a back and forth between the sexes, because we don't even know how to talk with each other.
Mhm.
And we're at war. We think, I don't know why. Who told us, even if we're not in a relationship, who told us that the world is men against women? Who started that? Like, why
I can
can't
give
we have
Girl, who is out here
some?
lying?
I can give you a name, but you know people don't want to go with it. The government, media, social media, all
For
that. A lot of people.
real.
We
Those are
are
the
supposed,
influences.
like, why aren't we, why isn't it our natural wanting desire to support one another?
Teach, queen.
Why is,
That's how it
I
was.
mean,
That's how
it's
it used to be.
weird. But we are so busy looking at gender instead of, guess what? We all people.
Come on.
We are all
Hello?
people. Forget men and women and they this and they that. No, we are all people. And it popped in my head. And not that all little girls are taught, but um, it said that, teach little girls that they're precious, and coming up that your body is precious, and this and that. And absolutely, but that's what we also need to be teaching our boys.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Why
Yep.
why aren't
Yep.
men before they are men told you're valuable too, you're
Yep. That's
special
what it
too.
is.
Nobody doesn't just anybody doesn't deserve your body.
Come
But it's
on. You the
Yep.
glorified.
Right.
king.
Y'all are taught it's cool. How many girlfriends you got, buddy? Even when y'all in elementary school, oh, you got two girlfriends. Y'all are taught to be adulterous. Y'all are taught
Right.
it's cool to have more than one woman.
Programming.
When women are
Programming.
taught
Yeah.
it, program, women are taught don't you be fast, don't you be letting nobody play up under your skirt. We are taught to train to be ladies, but why aren't young boys taught to be gentlemen? Taught self-control. Self-control
Yeah.
should not be a gender thing,
That
it
that
should be a people thing. But like I said,
Teach.
and it's not even y'all fault. You have no idea how many men I have heard horror stories from, telling me that at 10 and 12 years old, an older cousin got them a
Teach.
sexual act
Teach.
done on them.
Teach. 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 Teach.
Hmm.
I'm
Yep.
Queen.
like,
Teach.
what?
Queen.
Yep.
Teach.
I know plenty
And
too.
I mean,
Teach,
these are
queen.
35 men in their 30s, and they're like, yeah, one day, when my older cousin's over, they got this, and multiple women, men, and I'm like, hey, but you guys are taught, programmed that it's cool. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a badge of honor to get you some. And the more you get, the cooler you are. And that's
Mm-hmm.
not true. So y'all are pretty much taught to just pass it out, pass it out, pass it out.
to be
And
loose.
like
Yeah.
Mary,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, that's sad. That's sad. So you
It
guys are
is.
not taught to value yourself.
Hmm.
Like I said,
I
little girls
agree.
are especially your precious. We all are. The Bible says
Yes.
everybody is a temple, not just women's bodies. So, like I said, and
Teach.
it's like, and again, back to you, Dwayne. It's cool that like you said, to find other men, even if you are already a full-grown man. If it's something that you've
Teach.
never taught to do, there's no shame in saying, I don't know how to do this. Listen,
Yeah, man.
I'm not a wife yet. I have a 70 plus year old woman that I talk to, and I listen to this lady because she's married. There's no shame. So what? I'm 38. This woman has wisdom way beyond my years. And so it's okay but like I said, I don't know if it's shame, I don't know if it's pride, what it is. I had a guy, they were like, I like your light and blah, 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 and you're so positive. And I'm like, well, that's cool. But my suggestion to him was, I can absolutely point you to Jesus. Absolutely. And this was just a friend. I'm like, I could absolutely point you to Jesus. I said, but because you are a 35-year-old man, I believe that it would be very beneficial to you to get under some men,
Yes.
because there's some stuff that I can't tell you, I can't relate. He's like, I'm a grown man. What I look like talking, letting another man. I said, what do you mean? What do you look like? You're looking like you
Right.
want to be taught. There's no shame.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
I'm
Right.
like, what do you mean?
and if he only understood what he said, and that's why I love that Ty has, a forum where a group of us get together, do all different ages, and we because
Mhm.
there are certain.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm about to say something. There are certain things. Don't hold it against me, but there are certain things that a man. I'm gonna just say it's my opinion. But there are certain things that a man shouldn't necessarily put on his wife. I'm gonna just say
Teach.
that. There are certain
Teach.
dump everything on her. You're herpes. There are some things that you're supposed to work out with your savior. There are some things that you work out with him. There are
Teach, King. Teach, King. Teach.
father. You got your spiritual fathers. You got these people who can
Teach,
count
brother. Teach, brother. Teach.
work that out with them and go home and get it together because I'm gonna tell you, as tough as it may be hard, it may be hard to hear this. And I know that there's feel deep down they got that good interest because you know what I'm saying, deep down you got good intentions. But there's certain things that you can hear from us that will make you lose respect for us.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
because even if your children can have the memory that all daddy did was complain when he went through this and blah 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 blah. There were
Teach, teach, teach.
Mhm.
things you have to
Mm-hmm.
be careful with how much you put out there to your woman because you're supposed to carry the family.
That's that confidence again.
Teach.
Yeah.
You are
Teach.
her
And
counselor. That's scriptural. You are her
yeah.
counselor. So
Yeah.
this is why I talk about being your first administrator for men, how important it is because
Teach.
that's where you find out how to protect the royal semen. That's how you
Mm-hmm.
understand that the farmers will tell you, the true husbandmen will tell you, you don't just, there's some land we turned down because the scriptures talk about the different lands. This land will choke up our seed. We ain't about to go
Teach.
because that's what you are, woman of God, soil. And that is minimized to some of you. You minimize,
Teach, brother.
you
Dang.
in life, you multiply and amplify us. So here's the thing going to what Ty said. That little saying that behind every great man is a great woman, that was a lie to you. That was a, every great man is self-belief and the most high. That's
Teach.
a great man. You stand by my side because we're going
Mm-hmm.
to together. That's why I love the vision that God gave me after divorce. He showed me sitting in the car with a partner. She's my navigator. She's right by me. How intriguing it is that whoever came up with the car made a driver's side and a passenger side in the front. And that passenger side in the front ain't to throw your feet in the dashboard and lay back. You my extra
You got, you have no will. You
yes,
have no will.
you're my extra
You
set
you
eye. You have so much power to amplify
listen
what I'm doing behind that wheel because if
Mhm.
I'm off, we crash. And guess who it's on? Me, because I'm the driver.
on you. On teach.
Now apply
Teach.
life and your house. This is why, by nature, certain people on the outside looking in, me and you could be married, Jate, and we can have an agreement. We know what's going on in our home, but on the outside looking in, it's automatic. How that man let his family go through
Yeah,
that,
all of them people
but
business.
we already good.
Mm.
So you have to protect the kingdom. You
Now
have,
teach.
it's so many little intricate little things, but it starts with self belief in the man. Because once he understands that, he respects the mantle God placed on him, the purpose. He
Yep.
respects. reflection, and he's not gonna be frivolous with his seed because you know what? If I place my seed on fallow ground and I ain't even prepared that, I ain't even broke it up. I mean, if you want to take on a headache, that's cool. That's your choice. But at least
Teach. Yep.
break up the fallow ground. Otherwise, it's gonna kill and destroy you.
Yep.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep.
we that this is why I always I ever since a friend of mine shared this with me, I've held it because it's not my own. But he said ignorance tends to galvanize the men, which makes sense because you need to be knowledgeable to be a farmer. You need to be knowledgeable
Teach.
to sow. So if she's all this multiplication, then that means toxicity flows through her. That's why she always has to deflect toxic words and that and
Mm-hmm.
other word, narcissist. She throws those
Come
words
on. Come on. Come on.
because that's what she is by nature. And there's proof of that. But if the umbilical cord and the root and the nipple of the breast, all
Got
root,
somebody. Teach.
who can toxicity flow through? Not the man. He can be
Teach.
toxic, but he gonna get it from mama.
Teach.
So daddy gotta be there to make sure order is on point.
Teach.
That's what gotta happen. So there's no toxicity. Cause then
I go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were finished. Go ahead, please.
and then he gonna graduate to simp. And I'm
Mm-mm.
you-
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
we don't want no
You
simp.
teach.
And I know y'all don't want mama's boys.
Absolutely no. Look, no. But
They want that grown, confident man.
Facts.
they who doesn't? Who doesn't? That's the thing. The crazy part about it is, but they listen. They'll sell out for a spineless one just to get what they want. That's crazy. And then that's not even what you want. You don't even respect it. And then you'll get a man to
Right.
come along and will check you, put you in place, this and that, and you'll respect him. It's beyond crazy. It's beyond me. But again, it's part of that Tyler Perry. I like to call for our generation the Tyler Perry programming because everybody believes for whatever reason they're in somebody's Tyler Perry special or something. But I love because before we go into what our next segment is, which is legally driven, I love how you're talking about the car and the formation of it. And like you said, it don't matter if you on in London because of course they drive on the other side and then their car is built opposite, but it's also built the same way.
Yep.
When you are a passenger or you're in the back seat, you have no will.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same will you should have gave up prior to marriage. You're supposed to give your will up to Christ.
Facts.
You don't have one. So how can you turn it or him?
Yep.
All you can say is Jesus, take the wheel.
Listen, he
Literally.
didn't took it if you king in place. He didn't took it
Ah,
if king in place.
that's all you can
And if
do.
you
Right.
in place. Shoot, you better teach.
Mm,
And
mm-mm.
that seed, she will rot your crop. This
Facts.
ain't even no joke. Do you?
Yep.
And you were talking about Jate, and I definitely want to chime in on it about kings being taught identity. You are a king. You are worth it. You know what I'm saying? But of course, society is tearing down the man. Why? Because of somebody's bitter, broken mama.
Yeah.
Bitter, broken mama. And then they didn't got some daddies in on it.
They
But
want
it
us to
started
be,
with all this, all the ideology
they
of the
want us,
flip of the coin is coming from
Mhm.
womb man.
yeah, they
We
want us
have
to
to
be
cut
Adam.
this off. We go ahead, King.
Right.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say they want us to be Adam.
They want you to be. They want y'all to be some beta males.
Yep.
Right. They ain't think they ain't talking too much about Job though. They ain't talking
Come
about
on.
Job, how he did his wife, how he do his
You
wife.
saw. Listen, how the Lord did his wife after she showed her mouth to be foolish. What?
You ain't
Job
let you
didn't have to
let her
do
know.
nothing.
You let her
She
know.
opened her mouth. He stood his claim, and God said, "Out."
Yep.
You
See,
gotta go.
we like the meek and mild Jesus, but we don't like to talk about the Jesus of order who ain't playing.
Facts.
Right. Absolutely. And
He,
that's
he
and
don't
that's what I encourage a lot of young men to do is to look at Job. You know what I'm saying? Y'all was talking about that word perfect. What did it start off with? It said Job was a what? Perfect man, and he
Yes. In
eschewed evil.
the sight of who?
in the God.
God.
in the sight of the Lord. Because of course, man probably didn't see him like that. You know, we got haters out here for real. So
Most
man
definitely.
probably didn't see it. It wasn't saying that he was sinless. He was sinless when it counted in love. How he treated his brother.
Yep.
He
He
was content.
loved.
He was content as well. I think
Teach
that
King. Teach King.
a lot of people, because Jate was talking, and it's crazy when Jate was talking, and even some of the things you were saying, Mary. I'm talking about my mind just do 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 do, because I see these
Okay.
stats all the time on the social media where it's like, and then it just make you go to the baser of it, the foundation of it. You go to this thing, you log in, and it says what's on your mind, and you just have pages and pages of people that just give their most intimate things to their God, because that's basically what you're doing.
Teach.
And people just all day long just, you know, have these little things to say, that just let you know that number one, who their God is. And this is why
Teach, brother.
that you got so many people that don't have confidence and they're insecure, and it's a setup for a ton of mascara wearing folk in a mask era. You know what I'm saying? This is why I put that out there all the time. You got a ton of people who have a cult of personality. They want to be other people, other things, anything but themselves. And, you know,
Teach.
we have to get to the place where we can be confident in our skin. A woman shouldn't have to go to
Yes,
Dr.
Lord. Yes, Lord.
to compare herself to another woman's body.
Teach King. Teach us.
It shouldn't be that. You're not satisfied with, somebody made a joke and it was funny. It's funny. They said, brothers, don't even trip, because the woman wasn't even happy with how God made her. So she definitely ain't gonna be happy with you. I said, hey, it's facts.
Teach.
Go change your whole body, put on a whole new face, put on these little eyelashes that do this on your eye. And it's, you'll tell a man, I want a real man. Well, and this is what gets me. You're
Come on.
breaking
Come on.
on in a man, and then you say, I want somebody who's taller than me when I wear heels. Well, you're not even your real height. Take them heels.
Teach. That, but that's, hey,
But
okay. Short people matter. I'm just want to throw that out there for free. Short people are of value. Go ahead.
But
but
wait,
you
he said she got them eyelashes that
right.
do like gay.
He wants you to be Ty. She say, when you wear heels, I still want you to be taller than me. Well, how about you just get
Brother.
and be
Or
your real
how about I get a little saw? I'm a saw part of the heel. Now you're a little shorter.
right?
Okay, now that this is not, that's not okay. Short people matter. All right, guys, and we're just. What if we're just trying to get up there to y'all so we can hear you a little bit more? You know, that's all I'm saying. Short people matter in life.
Well,
Yeah.
I can speak
Five,
more about the short
five.
people matter I mean, off record. I can't speak on that while
Uh,
we live.
it's just so many things that get said out there, man. It's just like we we beat each other up, and it's like a lot.
Teach, teach, teach.
Like Jate said, it's like even we're not praised at all. We're not told we're special. We're not told that. We hear so much that the woman is the prize, but if you come into a situation where all I do is open my car door to purpose, and you have a seat next to me, how are you the prize? You
Oh,
know what I'm saying?
oh.
I'm the prize. You have gained access, and now you become my secret weapon. You know what I'm saying? I plucked my flower. I couldn't walk past you. I had to pluck you in a like I have a saying. I want my lily amongst the roses. I don't want what everybody. I want somebody that, because real marriage is somebody that's supporting you, rocking with you. It's supposed to be a whole lot of things that happen before that piece of paper. That's what's real marriage. If it ain't real marriage until you get to that paper, it's something wrong anyway. Because it's supposed to be a
Teach.
whole lot in you. And then I was sharing something with Ty earlier where there's a real thing that I think could possibly happen. Where what if the one license that you ain't gotta qualify, they just hand those things out, is a marriage license. What if that thing was revoked after a certain amount of years?
Oh, teach.
And you could
It
ask,
should be revoked, King. It should be revoked. And you know
will,
what? He
will we
revoking them. He's showing them.
find ourselves being a people who, knowing that it's coming to a close, man, I know that's that like your license. What is it, like 8 years or something like that? 5 years, whatever it is. You
Stop
know,
it. Stop.
this license coming up. You get some anxiety. You know what I'm saying? You get some fire about you to make sure you renew that thing. How many people would be like, man, I can't wait till this thing over? Or how many people would be like, I can't wait to renew these vows because this is, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, there's a lot of people who, like Mary said, it's like after the wedding, it's like basketball. You throw the ball in the air, it's a tip ball. Whoever get that, run, whoever get it, run the crib. I don't care if it's the woman or the man. Whoever win the tip ball,
Put your heels on, ladies. Ladies, put your heels on. You're gonna jump up there and get that ball.
right.
Right.
Yeah, don't nobody no way rolls. They just let's have a wedding, and then after that, what we do then? It's like, come on. So we got to get qualified in these things, and it starts with our mental health individually before we enter anything with anybody. And we need some qualifiers for that before we enter a relationship and marriage. We need to have some classes, man. Some true qualifiers that say, okay, you qualify for marriage. Because if you divorce and you
Teach,
got
brother.
make you go through a parenting class. So why not all this before? You got to qualify to be a foster parent. But why is the license to be married so freaking easy to get? You know why? Because they want to make this when you fail.
Yep, cash cow.
Teach,
Billion
teach, 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 teach.
dollar industry. $1 billion industry. I heard a so-called white woman say about $78 billion industry
Mhm.
off of divorces.
Getting
We
paid,
got to turn,
Mhm.
and we got to turn
Oh,
this around.
oh,
getting that money.
Yeah,
oh, teach. I like that. I mean, it's destroying the foundation. It's destroying the stability of Mirage. And so then you have people that say, you know what, this ain't working. So yes, we should take an alternative route. Same, like you said, going back to fallen behavior. I was thinking about, I said, what is going on in society right now? Everybody wants love. Look at where everybody's mind and attention is. You- the hypersexualization is still a focal point of love. You want
yeah,
love from the love you were missing from the love that. So the thing about it now, what happened with love? What, because again, that word is interchangeable with God. Everybody want God.
yeah,
Everybody want God. But what happened? The freaking liar showed up before the truth, lying about what love is, how it looks, who he is, how he operates, X, Y, and Z. And we believe in it. So you will believe it because you like, oh no, I can't go that way. I'm gonna go this way. And we got a whole bunch of people going different routes and get mad because you ain't living the way that they're living. And it's like, no, bro, I'm gonna live how he already instructed or prescribed for us, and you can
yeah,
go that way if you want to. But I'm looking at love and I'm watching. We all have a need for it. We all desire it. But what happened was that liar told a lie about who he was and how he functioned and how he operated. And everybody just deterred, left into their own way, believing that they could do that. Look at everybody's lives. Look how many, what would they be having the New Year's, they be having the poster board parties. Look how many dreams are being reimagined on these poster boards. He ain't never told you that. And that's part of your frustration. He ain't never told you you was gonna marry somebody else's husband. Crazy? What is wrong with you? Tyler Perry told you to stick that out, it may change or something. I don't know where you got that craziness from, but he never prescribed that for you. So why are you even taking that dosage?
yeah,
Why are you taking that
First
dosage?
of all, God ain't gonna let's understand that dumb crap. God is not ever, ever, ever gonna
Ever.
give you somebody else's husband or wife.
Never. Never.
Let's be clear. Even, okay, even if he didn't put it together, that's the thing about it. Whether he
Teach.
orchestrated, whether you did it, whether whoever did it, he takes marriage seriously, okay? And so
Teach,
once some
Queen.
two people enter into that union, you can go ahead and play with it if you want to. He takes marriage very seriously. Irregardless of whoever's humping around like Bobby Brown ain't, he takes it very serious. Okay? And that's not well, if he wasn't, if she wasn't. First of all, God don't care about who not doing their job, who not, and why you trying to justify why you leaving your door open for him and her.
Mm.
God don't care about none of that. You about to be in, you
Mhm.
about, you playing, you playing, and you about to be in real trouble. Like all that, like you said, who told who? What in the imagination? How? Well, I'ma stick it out because he said she. He. Well, no, I'ma say she. She said she gonna leave him because he don't take care of the house, and so she ain't happy. So she said she gonna leave him. But baby, that's not your place.
Mm-mm.
Sound like
Mm-mm.
they not following the vows. In what
Teach.
is sickness and in health,
Exactly.
goodness, good and worse, and all they ain't
Teach.
following
People
the
don't want to do that.
Right.
They want. We already confirmed perfection
Yes,
means
they
complete.
do.
They're not talking about complete. They want no problems, no issues. They don't want financial problems. They don't want to have to deal with another person's stuff. They don't, for real,
And
for real, they don't want to deal with
more
another
of a
person.
reason, everything you saying, and I said it before you end up doing the description, but the more you described it, the more you described a beneficiary. A
yeah, that's what that
beneficiary.
is.
I profit off your death because you being with me. I'm a parasite. I am taking, drawing everything, including life, out of you. So I'm benefiting from your not being.
Yep.
I benefit from your death. And everybody wants to be a beneficiary. And they put their eggs in baskets to assure that they're getting returns on their investments as opposed to the return on God's investment that He put within yourself. That's
Yeah.
the
And no,
return. That's the responsor ability, having the ability to return to the sponsor what he had given with a surplus.
Yep.
and like Ty said, nobody wants to operate in sacrificial love. It's literally, I'm going to give, and I'm going to be if you are or if you deserve. That's
Man,
that's how people operate, even in sex. Within a marriage, women, he ain't this and he ain't that, and I'm not giving him none. Giving him what? This ain't candy. You,
I
what are you
mean,
talking about? Giving him some?
I
What are
mean,
you talking about? But it's like a punishment, and that's games. That's game. You're playing games.
nah.
You
Teach,
are playing
teach,
games.
teach, teach.
You are playing childish kitty behind games. And I think with the Wayne, you used the word maturity. That's immature. That's
yeah,
immature.
facts.
It's
Yep.
immature. Grow up.
Hmm.
Grow
I'm,
up.
I'm, I'm gonna tell you this. It seems like marriages is really becoming transactional. What's those songs?
Woo!
Exactly.
What have you done for me lately?
Exactly.
Or if you want to be with me, you got to have a what? Job. See,
Yeah.
it's all transactional.
Yeah.
And
Convenience.
Right.
I'm gonna drop this in
That's
there, and I'm gonna get out the way. When it comes down to having babies, it only matters if the man come.
That's facts. That's facts.
yeah, yeah,
Then
yeah,
it's funny
yeah.
because they are like, it's just weird. These ideas is like I said, say when you met him, he had a good job and it was satisfying to you. The
Mhm.
situation, okay, because obviously we ain't gonna say you don't love him, but the situation was satisfying to what you desired. And so I don't know, 5, 10 years down the line, I don't know, he gets laid off. So
Right.
now he's got this other job that he's not making as much.
Mhm.
So now you're already thinking, well, I'm accustomed to living this type of way, and this. What is really going on? What
Right.
is going on? So he was good enough. He was husband material, okay? When he had the job, when he had the car, when he had all these things. When the reality situation is, all I'm worried about is character, because things are
Teach.
going to come and go. I don't even care if you still got the car. When you 95, you probably ain't gonna be able to drive it than me either.
Yeah.
Teach.
Yeah.
So what should I be worried about? What should be we should be worried about? Character.
Yes.
Character. Like it's just it's stupid. And everybody has this generic idea of love. And this is gonna be my closing statement.
Woo.
So this is what God says love is. Love is patient and kind.
Come on.
Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It
Yeah.
does not demand its own way. It is not irritable and it keeps no record of being wrong. It does not
Teach.
rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up. Love never
Teach.
loses hope. Is always hopeful and endures through every circumstance. But y'all out here divorcing because of irreconcilable differences. What the heck is that? When you
What
think
is
about
it?
it,
Some
it really sounds like we don't really know why. We just give up because I'm tired of it.
Yeah. It's a way out.
that's
So
it.
we wake
It's a
up.
it's
That's
a
it.
way
Or
out. It's a
you
way
knew you
out.
shouldn't have been
Now
in it. You knew you
right.
shouldn't have been in it. That be that part. You shouldn't have been
Yep.
in it and you blaming somebody. I want to go with final thoughts and I want you to close us out. Jate, were you finished with your thought? Because I know that was your final, but I want you to finish. Then we go to Lord Ty,
We need to
and then and take us out of here.
Uh,
when we're talking about love, let's make sure we understand what love is. Not what we think. It's not about our desires, our ideas. That's why I said I want to love somebody like this.
Teach.
That's what I that's what I want. That's my desire.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Lord
Okay,
Ty.
I want to just put something on your mind that when we talk about influences and our young boys, we
Mm.
really had to be careful because homosexuality is on the rise.
My
And
King.
and
Teach.
if we not careful, one of our little boys can become a victim.
yeah.
Hmm.
And this is what America is afraid of. They're afraid of black men speaking up against homosexuality. And
Teach.
so I'm gonna speak today, and I'm probably gonna speak on my program as well. Is that we really need to pay attention to these boys. And Dwayne is right, is that that's why the man needs to be in the presence of these boys, because sometimes if you're not careful with the moms, if you're not careful, the boys would take after you and began to pick up behaviors, and then they fell victim to homosexuality. And then also, I was gonna say this: we was talking about work, okay, putting in the work, the necessary work that's needed in the marriage, okay. Faith without works is dead, okay. So you gotta,
Teach.
so you can't even claim being faithful if you're not putting in the work. If you sucking all the life and all that out of your partner, where's your faith at?
Mm.
Hello, I'm
Mm.
done.
Yeah. And just coming off, piggybacking off time, um, you know, you drain your partner when you're not content. And
Hmm.
I say this because I love the fact that Ty brought up Job, because he is the perfect example for
Yes, Lord.
not just men to look at, but all of us, because there are so
Hmm.
many experiences that came from Job. When you think about how his friends treated him, how his family treated him, his
Hmm.
circumstance, the fact that the Most High found him worthy enough to even be taken.
Teaching. Teaching.
Because the fact of the matter is, I say it all the time, just because you went K through 12 don't mean that it stopped after you got out of high school, went to college, whatever. You
Teach.
still have transitions of life. And some people, they flunked. You didn't flunk with them. You know what I'm saying? You was a fool. You flunked with them. If your parents knew that you were trying to do something like that, your house, they probably may be thinking one way, but your family, like, dude, you ain't flunking with your friend. You
Right,
understand?
dummy.
You kept going ahead. And I think all of
Mhm.
that went behind. So why, especially, I know men do it, but I see it so much in women that'll be willing. And I feel like one of the frustrations is you be in your 40s, late 30s, you start to change in your body, your looks. You know, Jate said something earlier about men maturing and what time they mature. It's usually about 35 because now you start to find out how much you were lied to. Ty talked about it, going into the homosexual thing. You find out how much you were lied to as a so called black man, let alone a man. So now things start to pick up in your mind about 35 because you're about to be in your 40s real quick. Now, I personally say that a man shouldn't even try to have any children till about that time because you got to know what world you're in. So, and you have to have went through because you got to teach the whole house, woman and children.
Mm-hmm.
So, what experience can you teach them if you're in your 20s and you still bumping your head as a man and you haven't established your career and you haven't become your first administrator and you still a little boy yourself? We got to get that part together. And then it's like the woman usually, most part, starts to make 45 because you see it all the time. I've seen posts where multiple women said flat out, let's use this time now to live it because we won't be this young and this perky ever again. So they know that their youth is the way the world puts it is. This is the time to be used up.
Mm-hmm.
Take them booty shots, take them side five shots, take them thirst trap shots. Try to get a man to take you out, even though you ain't qualified. Use your body for everything, because once you old, baby, you ain't gonna be able to do it. Guess what, girl? We gonna go to the club 15 deep, and we gonna get drinks, and we gonna dance on each other. We ain't gonna go with nobody. We just gonna play with this. These are the type of the things that's done, and there's always somebody in the group. When you talk to the real ones, it's always somebody in the group, one or two girls. They'll sit and they'll contemplate to themselves. When I was in my 20s, I let JoJo get out of my hands. I let Mike get away from me, and I'm still. And all I can say is that I've been friends with these scallywags. You did not transition. You did not make your transition to the next grade. And
Come
because
on.
you got one life, now you didn't use your gifts. Because only a woman can carry a child and give her body to a man and carry and multiply and amplify his seeds. But if you let the wrong people open up your mind with these thoughts that just live it up,
Teach, 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 teach.
you'll lose your best years to make a family. Because the scripture said, for this reason, this one main reason that's most important to leave the family I put you in that you couldn't control, but you can control who you choose. That's why you put,
Teach.
and that's the most important reason to leave your home because you're gonna make one flesh, which is your children. That's the only logical explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Combination of you both. So that and hopefully you
I'm
build
on
something
the show.
that makes one spirit. Now you can say this is my soulmate. But all this other stuff, if we don't get past this and we think that another person could be our happiness and all that other stuff,
Teach,
then
brother.
exactly right. Job was content. That's why he was the perfect man. That's why he was at peace. Because he was content and said, he even said it. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him.
That's right.
He didn't seek for happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So why are so many people walking around here? I'm happy. I just happy. I just you can't. That's a fleeting thing. You can't be happy all the time.
Mm-mm.
Hey,
Mm-mm.
it's
Teach,
not,
brother.
it's not gonna happen. So you search for contentment and you develop self belief so that you don't be a draining parasite, as Mary says, to another individual, and then it makes it harder to when we supposed to be the ministers of reconciliation.
Mm, mm, mm. Teach, brother. Teach. I think just first of all, this show was just super dope. Like again, another like show where everybody was on alley oop and you know, I mean hitting huge points. Like when I was talking about taking the alternative route, that's really where I was going with it. And we're watching, the change of marriage changing from the true foundation of a man and a woman to a man and a man and a woman and a woman. And this is why they'll do that, because again the lie came before the truth, giving off the false appearance or representation of God love and what that entails and why. One thing, especially, you could tell with homosexuality, nobody told them that it ain't about your preference. It's about his product. It's about his product. He has a reason why he needs you to function in a certain way, and it's for reproduction. And so his method that he has chosen for us is life, and the methods that we choose for ourselves is practicing of deaf culture. God was, talking to me, and I man, and we were seriously talking about masturbation, because it's deeper than that. It's not just fornication. Don't think that, okay, I ain't sleeping with nobody, I'm celibate. But yeah, but are you raping yourself? And another thing too is that we are so programmed. You know what I'm saying? It's a masturbation thought, but look at how programmed we are. We are so programmed to, what's the word? I want the proper word. We are so programmed to release our seed into dead end zones.
Okay.
That's the problem. We'll release that seed. We were talking about planting and harvesting earlier. When you're landing your seed on different types of grounds, again, he has talked about it ain't just one type of ground out there. There are different types of grounds out there, and your seed will die. It will wither, and everybody ain't a concrete rose. Don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? And even a concrete rose ain't got everything that's necessary for full productivity. You know, so that's one thing that's imperative out there. With the homosexual culture, we are headed into a dead end zone. There is no life that's going to be able to come out of. However, you're going to need God's life in order to continue yours, because the route in which you're taking, there then is no more people that can be reproduced, unless y'all going to go again and do some more out of order man's way and attempt, you know what I'm saying, to will away or get what it is that they like or desire. And going back to your comment with happiness, you can't be happy all the time, because every condition you're not going to be content with. You're not. And that's what happiness is. All of the circumstances are to my liking, but he never told you to be happy. He told you to be joy. Have joy. Have the fruit, imperative pieces. It was one more thing you brought up that was like, oh, let me hit that before we get out of here. It was job it was job. And when you talk about contentment, let's go a little further into the verses when he was actually questioning God. And that's the same thing we do. We be like, why? And don't get me wrong, when you question God, please do so, because here's the thing, at least you having a conversation. A lot of us ain't even turning to do that. But when you question him, know that you gonna get hit with the same Job answers. Where were you when I created the foundation of the world? So you don't ask me about my weird way, and you wasn't even here. I know what I'm doing. Get in a line and in agreement. Not just I know God, not just I know God for myself. Get the elementary crap up out of here. Agree with him so that you can move forward. Because, like you said, how can two walk together? That's even within yourself if you do not agree. All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I thank everybody on this panel. This was just super, 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 super dope. Next week we'll be closing out the Battle of the Wheels and going into, I guess, God, as you can see, leading us right into being legally driven. Being legally driven in all of the symbolisms that we had with the car today. It's just solidifying our next step and our next purpose, and what it is that we're doing to complete the project of 2020, 2021, my apologies. And I'm excited about it. Like, again, being legally driven to obey, with intent. All right, guys, rock single, absolutely nothing at all, man. Peace.
Peace.